Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here, and welcome back to The Fragrance Well. So for today, we're going to start what might be a little mini series on this channel. We'll see how the video does, but I plan on doing this in a couple different iterations. We're talking about masculine notes. These are notes that are used in perfumery that I think, depending on how they're used, make a fragrance undeniably masculine. Today, we're going to focus on green notes. Now, does that mean green notes can't be used in feminine fragrances? Absolutely not. Matter of fact, every note I plan on talking about are definitely used in unisex and or feminine leaning fragrances. But again, it just depends on how they're used. Well, that kind of dictates, which direction they lean in terms of if you experience the fragrance as masculine or feminine. So we're talking about green notes. I have got 7 fragrances here today. Got some classic ones and got some modern ones. So let's go ahead and get into it. But before we get started, as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, and please hit that bell icon and enable notifications so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. All right, first up, we're gonna start with a nice classic masculine scent from the house of Guerlain. This is Vetiver. Guerlain Vetiver. So obviously, what is the green accord that's featured in this fragrance? It's vetiver. There's also a very green tobacco in this. It's more so leafy than it is ashy or smoky. So both of those are the main notes in this that kind of contribute to the green aspects of this fragrance, making it masculine in my opinion, but it is also featuring some very sharp, very lemony, very tart citrus combining with those green accords, and there's also a little bit of spice primarily coming from a note of nutmeg in this, but the green aspects are what makes this fragrance very masculine to me. It's also supported with a bit of a woodiness. But yeah, the vetiver and the tobacco make up the green facets of this fragrance and definitely come across as traditionally masculine for sure. So this is always going to be a masculine fragrance in my mind. Doesn't mean women can't wear it, but they're not going to smell like a woman. So once again, from the house of Guerlain, this is Vetiver. All right, next up, coming from the house of Wilhelm Parfumerie, this is Morning Chess. Wilhelm Parfumerie Morning Chess. So this fragrance here is quite green. Also leathery as well, which that's another note I might discuss in one of these videos. But there's a heavy note of galbanum in this. There's also some patchouli. Patchouli can come across kind of green, but it's got these other characteristics that we don't really think of as green, but it is a plant. But also that galbanum is a resin that just smells like bitter earthiness with a green tinge to it. So the fragrance I definitely experience as being green, and it's definitely a masculine scent to me. It's probably marketed as a unisex fragrance, as most niche fragrances are, but to me, this is traditionally masculine, undeniably masculine scent, and it does have green facets to it that contribute to that aspect. So once again, from the house of Wilhelm Parfumerie, this is Morning Chess. All right, next one's coming from the house of Amouage, and this is Beach Hut Man. Amouage Beach Hut Man. This one's gonna have to take a break on the channel. It's been featured in too many videos lately, but it's an awesome fragrance, but very fresh and very, very green. There is some mint in here. I guess depending on how the mint is used, you could say it has green aspects, but I wouldn't necessarily say that's a masculine green note. But this also has a lot of galbanum in it, similar to Morning Chess, contributing to that bitter green spiciness that this fragrance has. It also has a note of ivy, moss, and vetiver, all notes that can have green-like smells to them and can be used in a very masculine way, and that is certainly the case with this fragrance. This is one of those ones that's so green that if you don't like green fragrances, it might not be for you. It's in your face kind of green, which to me, if a fragrance is green and has that kind of very aggressive smell to it, it's automatically masculine, at least as far as I've experienced it to up to this point. This fragrance definitely falls into that category. So once again, from the house of Amouage, this is Beach Hut Man. All right, guys, we got another classic masculine scent coming from the house of Creed. This is Green Irish Tweed. Creed Green Irish Tweed. That can be a tongue twister for me. I gotta be watching when I'm saying that. But this one here features also galbanum, but I wouldn't say it's not quite as present in this. There's other things really kind of helping to dial that one down a bit, but there's also a heavy amount of oak moss in this. Those two are the green facets to this fragrance. Does feature other notes that make up the overall smell of the fragrance, so I wouldn't say it is green wholeheartedly, but there's green facets to it, and everything really comes together in this fragrance to make it smell kind of like fresh cut grass. So the fragrance has a grassiness to it, so I would say it definitely has a green characteristic, and this fragrance is undeniably masculine in my opinion. Timeless scent, always gonna be around and available. You know, as far as I can tell, I don't see why this would go anywhere. Always gonna be seen as a classic gentleman's fragrance. So once again, from the House of Creed, this is Green Irish Tweed. All right, we got another one from the House of Wilhelm Parfumery. This is going to be London Funk. Wilhelm Parfumery, London Funk. I've talked about this fragrance quite a bit on the channel, and I've said how it is basically you walking in a forest. That's how this fragrance smells. So it's very green, it's very woody. A lot of woody notes given for this fragrance, but there are green notes of basil, juniper, and mate, I think that's how you say it, kind of helping to contribute to the green aspect of this fragrance. But it's very dry, very green, very woody, and very masculine. I don't know if this is marketed to women as well. Again, you know, most niche fragrances are, you know, just marketed as unisex. They just want whoever loves it to buy it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But one thing's for sure, if a woman wears this, no one's gonna say they smell like a woman. They're gonna say you smell like a man, because you smell like you've been working outdoors without smelling sweaty. That's pretty much how this fragrance smells. So once again, from the House of Wilhelm Parfumery, this is London Funk. All right, next one's coming from the House of Xerjoff. This is Neo. Xerjoff's Neo. So this fragrance is known as being a very nice freshie, and it certainly is. It's mostly kind of known for that, you know, citrus opening that the fragrance has, but there are green facets to this fragrance. I find it to be very fresh and clean and green, almost a little bit soapy in a way. There is a note of green leaves in here. That's the only really green note given, but what I would say is that if this fragrance did not have its green aspects, it would be experienced completely different. And matter of fact, I think it would lose a lot of the depth that this fragrance has. I'm not saying this fragrance is super complex, but it has some depth to it, and that's what I think makes this one a special one, and not your average citrusy, fresh fragrance. So once again, from the House of Xerjoff, this is Neo. All right, and last but not least, we got another classic gentleman's fragrance from the House of Aramis. It's Aramis Eau de Toilette. Aramis Eau de Toilette. My grandfather's fragrance, so let's give him some shine on the channel here. This fragrance is very spicy, very woody, and it has green facets to it. It's a little bit leathery as well. So this is a complex scent. I would say that the green notes that are in here may not necessarily be the feature of the fragrance. There's a note of myrtle and tree moss, and there is vetiver in here, but you know, it can be a little tough to tell if it's more of a green like vetiver or if it's more woody, because vetiver can be a number of different things. All I would say is that if you remove the green facets that you can pick up from this fragrance, it wouldn't be experienced the same, and I don't think it would have that same DNA. I think the tree moss is very heavily used in this, because you definitely get that mossy effect from this fragrance. So this is a undeniably masculine scent that has green notes in it, but also has a lot of other stuff. A lot of, I think, the kind of classic notes that make a fragrance masculine are really featured in this fragrance in every single way. So this one is just kind of the creme de la creme of masculine notes all wrapped into one fragrance. Anyway, once again, from the House of Aramis, it's Aramis Eau de Toilette. All right, guys, that is gonna do it for this video. Let me know down in the comments below, do you like green fragrances? And if you do, for the ones that you like, do you find a lot of green notes really coming across as masculine in your fragrances? Again, I've experienced feminine leaning fragrances that feature green notes very well, so it is not inherent for green fragrances to be masculine leaning. It just depends on how they're used and what the other ingredients are. But I think green notes in a fragrance can definitely lean masculine depending on how they're used. So yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you for watching all the way into the end. I really do appreciate you. Remember to be well and smell well, and I will see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.